Hi everyone, I wanted to talk to you about color in rum. There are many ways how people classify rum and color is one of them. I don't think it's a really good way to do it because what does color really mean? You have white rum, amber rum, gold rum, dark rum, black rum. If you have a certain expectation of what this color is going to do with the flavor or that it has been aged in a certain barrel for a certain amount of time, you might be disappointed. Let's start with white rum. I think in general people will see white rum as a light, unaged rum. And in many cases, you're going to be right. However, even this Bacardi here has seen some aging. You've got Havana Club 3, Real McCoy 3. They've been in the barrel for 3 years. They're still white rum because they've been filtered, so the color's been filtered out of it. You still get a little bit of that barrel influence. There's another reason why one rum is not like the other. One white rum is not like the other. Take this Bacardi again. 40% from Puerto Rico, made in a big multi-column still. Most people know this rum, not very flavorful. Then there's Rum Fire, or Rum Bar Overproof. Made in Jamaica, 63% on a pot still, incredibly flavorful. Totally, well, opposites really of each other. They're both white rums. Then this one, Agricole rum. This has been made by fermenting sugarcane juice instead of the molasses that the others have been made of. Very flavorful, oftentimes very grassy, very, very nice rum. White rum, very different from these three. So if you're ordering a white rum, theoretically you have no clue what you're going to get unless you know which country the white rum comes from. So it's very good to know the countries behind it and some of the flavor differences, because once you know that, you actually know what you're ordering and what you're going to get. That's not easy to do. It's just a matter of tasting a lot of rum. So either you spend a lot of money and you buy tons of bottles, or better, if you have a great rum bar in your neighborhood, you can just taste all these and soon enough you'll start getting these flavor differences because they're massive. Let's talk about rums that have color. Popular opinion is color comes from time spent in the barrel. That's true in many cases, but not all. Even if it's aged in a barrel, you're going to have differences because it depends on the size of the barrel, the type of barrel, how long it's been aged, if it's been first used, or maybe it's been used to age something else, and what has it been used for. All of them could give a different outcome. Also the location that it's been aged in. Has it been aged in the tropics or has it been aged in the UK? Different outcomes, but at least that method of aging is very well known and very well respected. Another way of adding color is by additives. A very dirty word, my apologies for that. For example, producers could add sweet wines. Adds a little bit of color. I think it's not so much for the color, it's more for the flavor, to make it more smooth and make it seem older than it really is, and then sell it for a premium price. Very, very deceiving. Another way, and that's the most common way, is that producers add caramel. Now there's a couple reasons why they would do that. First of all, is to make every bottle consistent, because when something's aged in a barrel, no barrel is the same, so whatever comes out of it can have a little bit of a different color. Now imagine that you go to the grocery store and you want to buy a bottle of Coca-Cola, and you look on the shelf and there's like 15 bottles of Coca-Cola, they all have a different color. You're going to think, what the hell is this? What's going on? Something must be wrong, right? Same with this, for example, Appleton Estate, 8-year-old. This has had some color added to it. It's for consistency. The other reason is to bring it back to the color of barrel strength. So it comes out of the barrel, the rum, a barrel strength. Obviously it's going to be darker than when a producer brings it down to 40%, for example. Adds water, it's going to be lighter. To make it look more attractive, a producer can add a little bit of caramel to make sure it looks better and it sells better. This is a little bit misleading, of course. However, not way as misleading as when a company says, my rum is aged for X amount of years, while it hasn't, and uses color as an instrument to make you think that it really is that color. Again, super misleading. It happens quite a lot, and that's topic for another video. Look at these two different ones. This one is barrel strength, Foursquare 2004, 59%. It's pretty dark, but that's just the way it comes out of the cask. This one, 43%, has that color added to it. Slightly darker even than that 2004. This caramel color is very bitter and very concentrated. So you need very little of it to get a lot of color. It's also called E150. Now, I've got a little bottle of this. I'm going to do a demonstration. All of a sudden I feel like I'm my chemistry teacher from high school. His experiments always went wrong, so I hope this is going to go okay. Here we have a glass of water. I'm going to add a little bit of, I added quite a lot already. Mind you, quite a lot. There were probably 5 drops. Look at this. I would say that's pretty dark. I mean, that could be a 12-year, 15-year, or a 23-year Solera. No problem. Now, some people say that coloring rum is very bad and it shouldn't be done, and that you can taste it, this caramel color. Now, I've tried this, of course, and I feel that it depends on the rum. If you put it in this Bacardi, for example, for sure you can taste the difference. But if you put it in a rum that's a lot more bolder in flavor, aged, I mean, 2004 Foursquare, for example, whichever, I can't taste it anymore. Now, I'm just an average guy with a regular palate, so that might be the reason. But to me, I think if you can taste that difference, then you're obviously a super taster. Congratulations. You should sign yourself up for some tasting competitions, because that's pretty impressive. We didn't talk about black rums yet. Think Kraken or Bacardi Black. Doesn't even exist anymore. I don't know. I think these are typically rums that are flavored. They've never seen the inside of a barrel, and there you can definitely taste the caramel coloring. That's just there to make it look cool and nothing else. I think it's very important to look beyond color, just like you should with humans. It's much more important to know where the rum was made and if it's been aged. And if you then want to dive any deeper, it's good to know if it's fermented with molasses or sugarcane juice, and on what kind of still it was produced. When it comes to classifications, I think it's clear that the color system is useless. There are other systems, like the Gargano classification, for example. If you don't know it yet, look it up. It's very interesting. However, it is very technical, and I think for beginning rum drinkers, might be a bit too technical, but it does give a certain amount of clarity. Another system that you see used a lot divides rum in 3 different categories. One is called Spanish style, English style, and French style. Those are the 3. Now, the reason why I think that's not working very well, I can give just a quick example. You have Barbados rum and Jamaica rum. If you compare, in general, rums from those 2 countries, they're very, very different in taste profile. However, in this classification system, they're both English style. It makes no sense to me. They're too different to be in the same region, same classification. That doesn't work either. So in the end, I think what is super important is that you start tasting stuff. Super important to know, where does my rum come from? And how do you do that? Well, I mentioned it earlier. If you can go to a rum bar in your area where they have tons of selection, just try as many things as you can. Saves you a bit of money, saves you buying a lot of lemons. I've sure bought a lot of lemons in my years in rum. Hence, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, to make you make the mistakes that I've made. But that's one way of doing it. Maybe there's a rum club in your area with lots of people where you can exchange samples. It happens here, even in Toronto. Those are all ways of getting a lot more knowledge and knowing what you're tasting, instead of just looking at the label, looking at the color, and listening to the marketing representative. Anyway, that's it for me. If you want to have more information, go to rumrevelations.com. I'll see you in the next video.